Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well and wonderfully. Do you remember in the previous class we have started with a new chapter? And what was the name? If you don't remember, just look at your screen and you would be remember. Get to know what was the lesson name. That was temperature. Nowadays, what is the climate? Now, sometimes it is cool, wet, warm, hot, we feel. Like sometimes it's raining, sometimes it is like humidity, and sometimes it's too hot that we can't bear it. Right now? So, in our last lecture, in our previous class, what we did, we had one experiment or activity we did it. Yes, we did one activity based to know the perpendicular and the slanting area occupied by the torch light rays. How many of you did this experiment at home? Anyone? Those who have done this experiment, very good, a good job. Now, in this chapter, we are going to learn about what is temperature, distribution of sun rays, thermal zone, temperature at various perils, factor influencing temperature, altitude, nearness to the sea. I hope you remember we have started with the temperature. What is temperature? To tell me what is temperature, dear students? Temperature is related to the heat received from where do we get the heat? Yes, we get the heat from the sun. Very good. I hope you all remembering it. The amount of heat in the air is known as temperature. Which instrument is used to measure the temperature? Tell me, students, what is the name of that instrument? It's the thermometer. Do you remember this activity which was given in your textbook? We had done it. Remember? As in the first picture, it's showing which line. It is a perpendicular, it is a straight line, perpendicular, or it is a slanting line. In figure A, it's showing perpendicular. Perpendicular means it is a straight line. So whenever there's a perpendicular rays, what will happen? It will cover less or more area. Tell me. I hope you all remember what we did in the previous class. Yes, it would be covering less area whenever the line is in straight. Whenever it is a straight race, what will happen? It will cover only small area. That means less area. And if you will see in the figure B, what is happening? It is in the slanting rays. Slanting rays means it would be occupying larger area. And what will happen? Hence the surface there get less heat and the air too is less hot. Now, as you all remember, the unequal distribution of the heat received from the sun resulting in decreasing the temperature from the equator to the north and south pole. Now, students, from this picture, what do you remember? What we did? What it's showing on your screen? Yeah, it is showing the distribution of sun rays which we are getting from the sun. As the sun rays falling on the earth are straight and parallel to each other. However, we can see due to the spherical shape of the earth and the resultant curvature of the surface, they occupy larger or the lesser area. This leads to unequal distribution of the heat received from the sun, resulting in decreasing temperature from the equator to the north and the south pole. Based on the distribution of temperature, the earth can be divided into torrid. Now, what do you mean by torrid? It's mean very hot, that way it's unbearable. Temperate and frigid. What do you mean by temperate? Temperate means dry, medium, like you would be having not more heat, it would be having less heat. And frigid means it's cold. Do you remember on page number 23 of your textbook, one experiment which was given, that is do it yourself, and it was showing the perpendicular and the slanting area occupied by the torchlight? Do you remember? Whenever there is a perpendicular rays, what will happen? It will cover only less part of that area. But when it is slanting, it will cover more. It will cover more area, that would be a larger area. Now, what will happen whenever it is a slanting, when the rays is in the slanting, moving in the slanting way, what will happen? That the sunlight appears less bright and there is only less heat. Due to that, if you remember, in the frigid and the temperate area, the heat would be less as compared to torrid zone. Now, on your screen, you can see one picture which is showing of your, that is thermal zone. Now, it has been divided into frigid zone, temperate zone, torrid zone. As we discussed before, that the earth can be divided into torrid, temperate and frigid due to the sun rays which falls on the earth. It is being divided into torrid, temperate and frigid. As you all remember, whenever it is a perpendicular sun rays, what will happen? There will be more heat, but it would be covering less area. But whenever it is a slanting rays, the light would be less brighter, and because of that there would be less light, less heat, and the air would be cool or hot. Yes, the air would be cool, not too hot. Let us see the further details about the torrid, temperate and frigid zone. Now, what is torrid zone? The torrid zone generally refers to the area of the earth near the equator. As you can see the picture on your screen, the equator which has been showing a straight line, and the area which is being covered with the orange color, that area is known as torrid zone, because the sun rays falling on the earth is in the perpendicular form. As you remember the figure 5.2 which has been given on page number 24 of your textbook, means which type of sun rays has been falling there? A, the A which has been labeled on your textbook. See, the sunlight strikes most directly on the equator, means on the equator side it has been showing which zone is there? Torrid zone. So because of that, the more would be the heat over there, and that area is known as torrid zone. The torrid zone generally refers to the area of the earth near the equator. The torrid zone is generally warm. It has a wet and dry season but does not have four seasons familiarly to residents of the temperate zone. Further from the equator, this warmness of the torrid zone influences its weather, ecosystems, and geography features. Also, the torrid zone refers to the area of the earth between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. It is located geographically by the 23.5 degree north altitude and 23.5 degree south latitude. Now, which was the next zone? Now, the next zone is temperate zone. The part of the Earth's surface lying between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, or the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctica Circle in the southern hemisphere, characterized by having a climate that is warm in summer, cool in winter, and moderate in spring and fall. As you can see, this is the thermal zone, and the yellow color shaded portion is known as temperate zone, which lie between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, as you can see in your screen. We would read these points one more time so that we would be able to understand properly. The part of Earth's surface lying between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, or between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctica Circle in the southern hemisphere. The next zone is frigid zone. The frigid zone are the coldest region of the earth and are generally covered in ice and snow. Do you remember when the sunrise is in the slanting rays, what's happening? Means it's getting light is less, so heat is also less. Because of that, that area is the coldest region of the earth. It receives slanting rays of the sun as this region lies furthest away from the equator. Summer season in this region lasts for about 2 to 3 months, and there is almost 24 hours sunlight during the summer. The sun rays are always slanting, so provide less heat per horizontal surface area. Now, as you can see, the thermal zone, the blue color area is known as frigid zone. On the northern pole and the southern pole, you can observe it. Let us read one more time to get a clear picture about the frigid zone. The frigid zone are the coldest region of the area. Now, which is the coldest region of the area on the earth? That is frigid zone. And which is the hottest? That is torrid zone. And are generally covered in the ice and snow. It receives slanting rays of the sun as this region lies furthest from the equator. Summer season in this region lasts for about 2 to 3 months, and there is almost 24 hours sunlight during the summer. The sun rays are always slanting, so provide less heat per horizontal surface area. Though the latitude is the main factor, there are other factors also which influence the distribution of temperature. The effects are limited to the particular area. These factors are as follow: nearness to the sea, continentality, height above the mean sea level, and the physical setup of the region are the factors that leads to diversity in the climate of different region. Other hand, these factors like cloud cover, winds, vegetation covered, urbanization, industrialization, etc. also influence the local climate. Now students, on the page number 25 of your textbook, one experiment is being given. So let us try and see what will be the result. For that, you require two pots of the same size and fill them with water equally. At sunrises, keep one pot inside the house and the other one outside. See that it remains in the sun all the time as well. In the afternoon, walk barefoot on the floor inside the house and feel the temperature of the floor. Feel the temperature of the water in the pot inside. Perform the same activity outside the house and get the feel of the temperature of the land and the water kept in the sun. Now, at both the time, you have to observe the pot which is being kept inside the home and the pot which is kept outside the home. So you have to exactly observe whether the temperature of the land and water, whether it is hot, cool, less hot or more hot, and so on. Now you would be doing this activity till the evening time around 7. Note your observation again and again in between. Now let's see what will happen. Now, normally we think the air gets heated due to the sun rays and because of the hot air. The land and the water get heated, but in reality what it happens as follow. First, the land and water get heated due to sun rays. Later, they radiate into the atmosphere. The heat that they have absorbed, as a result, the layer of the air close to the surface get heated. The heat gets transferred vertically to the adjacent upper layer of the air. Now let us see what happens after the experiment is being performed. The water kept outside the sun is still a little warm. Due to this, the differences in the heating and cooling of land and the water, the air over the land get heated faster and also become cooler rapidly. The air over the water get heated slowly and also loses the heat in the slow manner. In the coastal area as compared to, as you can see in the screen, in the coastal area as compared to the continental area, the temperature of the air is lower during the day but warmer at night. Contrary to this, the temperature of the air in continental area is higher during the daytime and lower at the night time. As the ocean is cooler compared to the land, cold surface in the coastal area, because of the heating of the sea water, water vapor get mixed in the air. This water vapor holds the heat in the air As a result, the air in the coastal area remain moist and warm. Conditions in the coastal area are opposite. A water vapor is absent, the air remains dry. This leads to sharp difference in the day and the night temperature. The difference in the maximum and minimum temperature of the day is called diurnal range of temperature. In short, the difference in the day and the night temperature is like in the coastal area and more in the continental areas.